Hey guys, YouTube War 100 here, and as I continue my Christmas now I'm going to review the movie Elf. I think that this is a really good movie. It's real funny also. Yeah, if you don't think it's funny, you're lying. You know it's funny. Yeah, so I give this movie about 3.25 stars again. Yeah, it's got a great cast for this movie. Yeah, Will Ferrell, James Caan, Zoe Deschanel, Mary Steenburgen, Ed Asner, Bob Newhart. Yeah, so yeah, yeah, this is a great movie right here, and it's hilarious also. Alright, so let me just jump right into it. Yeah, so yeah, movie starts with Papa Elf, who's played by Bob Newhart. He's talking about what elves do, the jobs available. It's making shoes at night, baking cookies in a tree, and of course, obviously, building toys. And then we saw the opening credits, and then we cut to the orphanage where Buddy, as a baby, is in the orphanage and he's being put to bed on Christmas Eve. And as Santa visited the orphanage, Buddy got out of his crib and crawled into Santa's toy bag. And then Santa and the elves discovered him at the North Pole. And then Papa Elf decided to take Buddy in his own hands and raise him. And then Buddy spent 30 years at the North Pole, and then he became an adult. And Papa Elf was telling Buddy about the sleigh, a Santa sleigh, and how he put an engine on it because there's not enough Christmas spirit to make it run. And then Buddy had found out there were some downsides to being a human in an elf's world. And because, yeah, he wasn't good at building toys, he called himself a con-head ninny muggins. Then one of the elves named Ming Ming told him he wasn't, that he was just special, but he took offense to that. He didn't want to be special, he didn't like it. Then he heard a couple elves chatting, and he heard that he was human. And so Papa Elf told him about how he was brought to the North Pole, and who his real father was, and saw a picture of him, Walter Hobbs, and he fell in love with a woman named Susan Wells, who was Buddy's mother, and she passed away, and Buddy was put up for adoption, and his father didn't know he was born, and that he lived in New York City. And Buddy went to talk to his snowman friend named Leon. Um, and then Buddy decided that he should go to New York, and Santa was giving him some tips on what not to do at New York, like not to have gum on the street because it wasn't free candy. And all the Ray's pizzas claimed to be the original, and he told him where the real one was. And if he saw something that said Peep Show, that it didn't mean that they were letting him look at presents before Christmas. And then he found out that his father was on the naughty list, and then Buddy just screamed no. And then we saw about 30 seconds of his father, Walter Hobbs, who was played by James Caan, talking to a nun. And as Buddy left the North Pole for New York, he was walking by a raccoon and it attacked him. And then he eventually got to New York and he was just exploring. Then he eventually approached the Empire State Building where his father worked, and then he went in. And as he was going up the elevator, he pushed all the buttons, and so it went to every single floor. And when he finally got up to his father's floor, his father didn't even know who he was. He didn't know he was his son. And so his father threw him out of the building. And then Buddy went to a department store called Gimbals. And then one of the runners for a shop there thought he was an employee, so he brought him to the shop. And then he heard that Santa was gonna come tomorrow morning. A guy dressed as Santa for kids. So Buddy decided to decorate the whole store. And he met a woman named Jovi, who was played by Zoe Deschanel. Oh, and then he fell in love with her. So anyway, yeah, he was decorating the whole store for Santa. And then at his father's home, he saw the picture of him with Susan Wells. And then the next morning, Buddy was listening to Joey sing in the shower at the locker room at the store. And then he was caught, and then she told him to get out from putting right into some lockers, which was hilarious. And then his father caught him sleeping in a display window at the store. And then he brought his other a gift. And it was something for women. It was like some kind of bikini dress. And then, and we eventually saw the hired Santa at the department store, and Buddy knew it wasn't really the real Santa, and he was just saying a bunch of stuff to him. He was telling him, "You disgust me, and you're a fake, and you stink, and he's a liar." And he eventually ripped the beard off, and then the other Santa tried to beat up Buddy, but then the owner of the shop stopped them, broke up the fight. But Buddy was put in jail, and then his father got him out. And then he took him to the doctors to get a finger prick, to see if he really was his son, and it turns out he was. So the father brought him home, and we saw Buddy chug down an entire 2 liter of Coke. And they were having spaghetti for dinner, and then Buddy put some maple syrup on the spaghetti, and then his half-brother, although they just called themselves brothers, Michael, he was calling him weird because there was a big long burp Buddy did. And then later on we saw Buddy, the next morning we saw Buddy pile a bunch of junk food on some spaghetti and eat it. He put like sprinkles and marshmallows and chocolate syrup, M&Ms, and some Pop-Tarts on it. And then the dad had a conversation with his boss about one of his books, that it was missing 2 pages, and it did very bad. It did real bad, and so he wanted to have a new idea for a book by Christmas Eve. And then Buddy, he was waiting for Michael outside of his school, and as he was following him and talking to him, some bullies were throwing snowballs at Buddy and Michael, and so they made a bunch of snowballs and threw them back at them and made them run off. And then they went to the department store, and then Buddy made a date with Joey. And Michael and Buddy got really close. They were really acting like brothers. And they got a Christmas tree together and were decorating it. And then the parents didn't want to leave Buddy alone by himself again, so the next day the dad took Buddy to work with him. And then Buddy decided to go work in the mailroom at where his father worked. And then he got everyone who worked in there. He got their attention. He was dancing around for them. And then we saw Buddy on his date with Jovi, and they were looking at Christmas trees, and they saw the big one, Rockefeller Center. And to get help for the book published at work, they brought in a famous writer, Miles Finch. And then Buddy saw him, and he was calling him an elf. And that was hilarious. He's just dissing him like, "Did you have to borrow a reindeer to get down here? Does Santa know you left the workshop?" And then Miles Finch was giving Buddy attitude, and he just said to call him elf one more time. And then Buddy said, "He's an angry elf." Then Miles Finch just mauled Buddy. And then the dad just got so pissed because Miles Finch decided to just bail on them. He told Buddy to just get out of his life. And then he ran away from home. And that night, while the father was presenting the presentation of the new book to his boss, Michael came and told the dad what happened. And so the dad just quit his job. And as we saw Buddy, he just walking, and he saw Santa sleigh in the sky, and it broke down. Yeah, the clausometer for the Christmas spirit just dropped down to 0, and the engine broke free. So Buddy was trying to repair it, and the dad and Michael were found the engine, and Buddy took them to Santa's sleigh. And then they eventually got caught by the Central Park Rangers because the sleigh broke down in Central Park. And so Buddy and Santa were being chased by the Central Park Rangers in the sleigh. And when Buddy finally reattached the engine to the sleigh, just like a few seconds later, the engine broke off again. And so they were doing everything they could. Yeah, Michael was told Jovi what was going on with Buddy and Santa. So Jovi started a Christmas carol. She got everyone to sing Santa Claus is coming to town. And then the clausometer was picking back up again. And everyone was pretty much singing except for the dad. Yeah, everyone that was watching it on TV was singing. Yeah, it was on the news. Yeah, everyone watching was singing it. Yeah, only one that wasn't singing it was the dad. And then Michael caught him and was told him to sing. And so, yeah, the dad did sing, and then it got up to 100%. And then the sleigh started to fly off. And then Papa Elf continued to narrate. He was telling us what happened, that the dad started his own publishing company and wrote a book about Buddy. And then he said that Buddy was coming up to visit them at the North Pole from time to time. And then as we saw Buddy holding another elf baby, Papa Elf wanted the baby. He said, "Come here, little one." And then Buddy just walked over and sat on Papa Elf's lap. And that's how the movie ended. Oh yeah, and then before it went to black, we saw Leon winking at us a couple of times, and then it faded to black. So yeah, there we go. Like I said, 3.25 stars out of 4. Or yeah, so yeah, thanks for watching this. And tomorrow I promise I'll put a review up of A Christmas Story. Yeah, tomorrow for Christmas Day I will put A Christmas Story review up. And that'll be my last Christmas review. Alright, so yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.